Welcome back to the WatchTower Film Podcast, the film review podcast on the Towercast Network by Cinephiles for Cinephiles.
Like these dudes.
I like that guy sort of looks like Bruce Springsteen on the cover of that album.
Like his Gone Boy?
But I think it's Born in the USA, no? Or
You look like you're stuck in the summer of '69.
Yeah.
I think I look more like Limp Bizkit with this. I did it all for the nookie. And you could stick.
Nice.
What'd you do it for?
What did I do? What?
Would you do it for the nookie or what would you do it for?
Did I do it for Snooki? Is that what you're asking me? I didn't do shit for Snooki.
What about for Amy?
Oh!
Young lady.
Listen here, young lady.
Welcome back. If you're joining us
Welcome.
right now, hopefully you've seen the last couple episodes where we covered other David Fincher films.
It's been stressing me
Fight
out.
Club and
This-
Zodiac.
Come on.
This has been the most stressful tour I've seen in my life.
What do you
Why?
mean?
There's just so much
I mean,
going
he's
on.
notorious for thrillers, so there you go.
Look, it's not Wes Anderson. It's not pretty colors. It's not everything's all aligned. It's gritty.
I just think I need a hug.
I want to tell a cool cinephile story. Aside from like
does it involve
all of
me
the
getting a
amazing
hug?
things that happened to me on my trip, man, which is like I can talk about most of them. I think
Spoilers.
You had a crazy adventure this past week or what?
I did. I went. We went out for some pitch meetings.
Let's
was
talk
his
about
name?
it.
What was his name? Fox, Netflix. No, but we went out and connected with some people and really good stuff. Went out. Shout out to the Dallas International Film Festival. Went out to that as well. And a lot of great things, man. Like I'll talk about it more in detail, like maybe like on a Towercast or whenever, or when we cover Rodriguez.
Did you
film.
buy
But
snacks?
I sure did.
But was it overall good news? Good.
Overall, great news. Overall,
yeah,
great reception.
That's what
All
you
good
wanna.
stuff. But I got to tour Troublemaker Studios, which is amazing.
Do they have vending machines?
Maybe they have a break room, and in the break room,
Yeah.
is the Big Kahuna surfboard. You know,
No way.
from I think it's from Dusk Till Dawn, but the Big Kahuna burgers from Pulp Fiction. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just covered Death Proof, right? And they had
Yeah.
the Death Proof cars, the yellow one and the white one.
That's amazing.
On display. That's
They
pretty
had
awesome.
them, and then it's great. This is the only thing I'll say about this anecdote, and then I actually want to tell the story about Cinephiles that I thought was cool.
Go ahead.
Elizabeth Aveyan, shout out to Elizabeth Aveyan.
Shout out.
And she gave me like clearance that I can talk about this. And,
Shout out.
and even post pictures and stuff. But
Hashtag Avayan.
yeah, she was a fellow Towercast alum. She was on this podcast and gave us like 2.5 hours or something.
Oh
Remember?
yeah, dude.
Tells great
Great
stories.
guest.
But
I'd
she's
love
so
to meet
sweet
you.
because she really does, gratefully, she does see us as peers. She loves Tower and she talks to me that way, right? So we're walking by the back lot and literally their back lot and the picture cars are aligned like the Universal ride, you know?
Yeah.
And like when you do the Universal tram tour and it's like the Jurassic Park Jeep and the Back to the Future DeLorean and that's how they have their picture cars lined up. It's like Spy Kids and Alita Battle Angel and the buggy from this and that.
That's
and then
crazy.
they get to the Death Proof cars. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we just covered Death Proof on our podcast. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. And she tells me, I tell her, I was like, why are they here? Like Quentin didn't fight for these. Like Quentin didn't want to have,
true.
right? Like that I would think Quentin wants to do that. And then she says, no, we made multiples, you know? So he took 2, we kept 2. And then I tell young filmmakers all the time, don't buy classic cars to destroy them. You know, because that's what Death Proof is. Like, we needed to destroy a car.
Couple of them,
She's like, but don't there's ways to work around that. And she's like, but you know Quentin, you know. And I'm like, no, Elizabeth, I don't know Quentin. You tell me about
Wow.
it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, oh, he's such a good father and he's this and that. He's so sweet. I was like, so you guys, he still comes. He's always here. And I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks. You know, I even asked her about the surfboard because I thought Quentin would fight for that. But no, she's like, no, like, you know, anything's kind of done here. It stays here. And very cool stuff. But the story I really wanted to reference was like, and not to like downplay that was like a childhood dream, like seeing all the Spy Kids props and seeing the Desperado guitar cases.
I don't know if we're able to impose it in, but like while you were there, just to really make all of us jealous, I think from the Spy Kids 3D movie, you were standing behind the suit.
That was her idea. By the way, like I was trying to be respectful and like, no, you know, she's like, take pictures, post them, I don't care, tag us. You know, she's like, She's like, go, oh, you know what everybody does? Go behind the Spy Kid suit and then like crouch it down the Junies,
So
you
you
know,
could,
and I'll take a picture of you. That was her
Wow.
idea. Yeah, so yeah, we could probably superimpose that. I have it.
Hell
But
yeah.
I sent these guys because I knew they were having a meeting. And I told Austin, I was like, hey, record the reaction when you show them these pictures. And he forgot to record them. But, or he said they were using his phone or something. But yeah, I wanted to see your guys' reactions
You're
to like
slacking, bro.
the troublemaker backlot and stuff like that.
That is cool.
It was
But,
a lot of Jason being like, "This son of a bitch." Like,
Yeah, like one of the coolest parts about it is they still have the Alita Battle Angel stage. Like everything. Yeah, it's 7 blocks
yeah.
of Iron City, which is insane, man. It's so cool. Anyways, I'm coming back from Dallas and I'm at the airport
welcome back.
and I go through security and they do like a secondary screening of my luggage. And I'm carrying like a guitar case and another bag. And they like decided to do a secondary screening of this bag. And I'm like, huh, well, that's weird. I was like, what did I put in there? And and then the guy's like pulls out my iPad. And my iPad has like this kind of strong case thing. And he was like inspecting it like with a tool, this iPad.
Some coke
And then
in
he
it.
opens it and it's got like a screenplay open. And then there's a guy standing next to me also waiting for secondary screening. He's a young kid, probably like 21. And he's like, so you use it for reading like scripts and stuff? I was like, yeah, mostly scripts. And he's like, so like you work in the movies? And I was like, well, yeah, I'm a filmmaker.
Yeah,
I do that.
I am the movies guy.
And then he says,
In fucking
well, anything I've seen, you know, like anything, like I was like, we're pretty indie, man. Like we're still, you know, don't have distribution and that type of thing.
You watch porn?
And he's like, well, I'm indie. Like I love indie. Like I watch a lot of indie. So whatever. I was
Hell
like,
yeah.
here's our website, dude. Feel free to check out whatever you want.
Nice.
And we're talking about that. And then the security guard, some dude who like big buff dude, looks like he'd be in the NFL or something,
Yeah.
dude. He's like going over my iPad and he's like, hey, did you see the new A24 trailer? Like that, dude. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in a simulation. Like, and I was like, no, which one? And he was telling me which one. And I was like, I haven't seen these. Like, you need to check it out on the flight. He's like, all right, so what do you lean? PTA or Wes Anderson?
Oh,
the fucking
shit.
TSA guy.
He
And
probably
I'm
overheard you. I was like, fuck yeah, I can talk to this guy.
I lean more PTA, but my cinematographer leans more to Wes Anderson. He's like, oh yeah, man, they're both good. He's like, I lean more PTA too. And I was like, well, they just shot in El Paso,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this is really cool. And he's like, no way, in El Paso? I was like, yeah, man, that's where I'm headed back to. He's like, that's crazy, man. I would have never thought. I was like, we're making big moves, man. Like, there's some central El Paso filmmaking happening. And he's like, that's so cool. I was like, dude, if we've had more time, I'd tell you some stories, but I got to go.
Yeah.
I was trying to catch my flight. But at random, the guy next to me, indie film lover.
are the chances, right?
And then the TSA guy checking my shit, you know? And it was just the
Just to
craziest
show you, man,
thing,
it's-
you know?
the love of cinema is
Yeah.
universal, man. A
Yeah,
lot of people,
that's exactly
people
what
that you
I
don't
thought.
expect are like, yeah.
That's crazy, right? It's so cool.
So did you watch the A24 trailer?
I did.
Was it the Rock one?
Dude, yes, that's the one.
Oh,
That's
that's
the
gonna
one
be
he
like
was
some
that one's
warfare.
crazy looking.
Yeah. Well, dude, not just that, but I think they're setting it up in a weird way. The Rock just got cast in Scorsese's film.
Yeah.
They're doing a mob film set in Hawaii based on a true story.
yeah.
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Leo too,
if
by the
anybody
way.
could do it, it's
A
Martin
mob
Scorsese.
film
I
in
could be
Hawaii.
wrong, but I think
I'm not a big Dwayne Johnson guy.
Brad Pitt too.
Pitt too?
Yeah.
It's set in Hawaii. It's a mob film set in Hawaii.
No, yeah, I'm
Crazy.
crazy to see, but I'm just not a big Dwayne
Yeah.
Johnson. I don't like.
Oh
his,
no, dude! Did you see the trailer?
For the
No, yeah, this
A24
one looks
dude.
good. Like, he doesn't even look.
one
I
of
was
the
like,
Safdie
is that really
brothers.
him, or is that?
That's the craziest thing, dude. Dude, not just that. Fucking in the last 2 weeks at least, that trailer comes out. The new Spike Lee trailer comes out, and it's A24, the highest to lowest.
Dude,
the,
yeah.
the new
It's
Denzel
the
Washington looks
recreation,
fucking
right?
amazing,
I haven't
dude.
seen that one.
It looks like a
I haven't seen
PTA film. That thing.
Really?
Fucking sick.
Nice.
With ASAP Rocky. And
ASAP Rocky's in it too. And then there's another A24 thing that just came out that like 3 trailers in 2 weeks, man, from
Well,
A24.
The West
all
trailer
like-
just came out recently too.
Which one?
For which
Wes
one's that?
Anderson?
But for which one?
Oh yeah. The
Which one's that one?
the Phoenician, or what is it called?
Yeah, the Phoenician scheme.
the Phoenician
shoot,
scheme.
I
But
remember
that's
that.
not A24.
With Michael Cera, right?
yeah.
Dude, everyone's been saying that that's like a-
Benicio's the
Benicio.
lead for this one.
That's fucking.
Yeah.
And I know that they had to have filmed that before the El Paso one. Like,
they
God,
must have.
if I could have talked.
It looks really good. But hey, man, it's going to be a good year for cinema, I
Hell
think. Speaking of good cinema, we'll bring it back to our auteur of the month.
Oh, it's stressing me out.
Let me introduce to you who's stressing out. Mr. Michael Valal offering a cinematography perspective.
Oh no, I'm offering an aneurysm that happened.
You don't need to call her. Don't call
You
her.
offer whatever you can, brother.
It's so.
Everybody on three, tell them not to call her. 1, 2, 3.
Don't call her.
her.
Don't call her, bro.
Sorry, Meg.
Eric Castro offering an acting perspective.
This is my director, my
The
tour.
showman.
Yeah, nah, Gone Girl, man. I've watched it so many times that I bet you guys are gonna love it. You see it once.
Yeah. I've seen this one probably more times than any other Fincher film, other than
really?
The Social Network.
I'm about to watch this one more than any other Fincher film.
Yeah, man, that's terrific. Mr. Eric C.K. Nunez.
Woo!
Switching back and forth, switching back and forth.
Looking different, but same guy.
The blueprints.
And
Our fellow producer offering another filmmaking perspective, and
On the casting couch.
on the casting,
On the casting couch. Oh my God.
Mr. Danny Nunez offering another acting
stay tuned for
perspective,
that.
hanging out.
Hey, Danny, so you want to be in the movies, eh?
Hey, man, you want to make it big, you know? You gotta touch the. Oh.
You gotta touch the script, Danny.
You gotta
Exactly.
touch the script.
you know what, Danny?
And your producer.
Danny.
Damn, bro.
Danny.
Slipped it in there.
Danny, I need you to come up to the mic for me real quick.
2 seconds.
Come up
Stand
to the
by.
mic.
Yeah, I need
and
you
we're
to come
ready
up to
for
the
your
mic.
close-up.
Come up to the
Don't be
mic for
shy.
Mike.
Don't be
Come
shy.
up to the mic and let me know when you're there.
Come up to the mic for Mike.
Come up to the mic for Mike.
Because
Come up to the
there's
mic.
a very strong going
Listen to
tradition.
Carlos and touch me.
All right, Danny.
I've seen this before.
No, there's
This is why I left LA.
This ain't LA, baby.
there's a strong going tradition that shamefully we may have neglected, but we're bringing back. You have to introduce the most humble man on this
We're not
set.
done. You're gonna introduce Austin. You just wasted it. You're
You
gonna
introduced Austin
No,
and
I
Eric.
didn't.
You kind of did, bro.
Austin.
I went after him.
I didn't.
Am I
didn't
wrong?
introduce Austin.
Nobody introduced Austin.
Exactly. You go introduce Austin, your humble producer.
No. Hello, you introduce Austin.
You
so we
finish
can all
what you
introduce the
started.
humble.
Wait, I introduced Austin so we could what?
So we could all introduce the humble.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna stop fucking
All
doing
right, all
intros.
right,
If you guys
and-
keep up with your shit.
Just let it go. Just let's see where it goes.
Producer, editor extraordinaire, making sure we're sounding good on the ones and twos. Austin Tyronius Young.
Tyrone.
I like that. I like that.
Drinking good old.
Always,
Austin Lil Quake Young.
always sporting a new hat,
Yeah, Lil Quake.
but the same attitude.
Remember, audience, when he shakes, you listen.
What's up?
And Danny on the mic to introduce.
We're gonna do what right? Go. Just
Then we have to wait.
what are we? This is like the
is
thunder
what
from
happens
under. What is it called?
This is what happens when you spark ideas.
I'm what the fuck is this?
Starting at 6'1".
I'm bigger than that. but okay.
Got the slickest hair in the Midwest.
And the sharpest beard.
He's an encyclopedia, but also
Just came back from Dallas.
Introducing your Towercast humble director, filmmaker, Carlos
It's this guy, in case you didn't know. Most humble, will not back down in any type of cinema fight. Master of cinema. Carlos M. Delatorre on the one and twos. How you doing, sweetheart?
What ones and what twos? First of all. Second of all, get my motherfucking name right. You know, introduce me.
put some respect on my name.
Carlos Tyronius. Delatorre.
I forgot
Are
the
y'all
T.
related? Y'all related? How you
Yeah.
doing? How you doing, guys? How you
That's
doing?
just no introduction
You know what
necessary.
I love is that I
That you see me squirm? That's what you love?
I love that if this is how we have to send off that joke, it was with that music.
Okay. Fine.
Some fucking Michael Jordan shit right
that
there.
is the most amped up, humble introduction that you will ever
Yeah,
receive.
no shit. I see the irony. I appreciate it.
I mean,
Welcome.
the only way to do it.
Come on, you appreciate it a
I
little
do.
bit.
I appreciate it. We I
Special intro
also
for a
important to
special
know
film.
we I had a good time with those two goofballs over there at the Austin Blues Festival.
Oh
That
yeah,
was tons of fun.
that's pretty dope.
Super
That
fun.
was awesome.
Super fun.
What did you guys do? Blues Festival?
Austin Blues Festival.
Oh,
We did very much so.
What
I
happens
offered
at
them to
the-
stay in my hotel, but they didn't get the memo. I don't know. You know, they just.
Hey,
I'm just a shy
Contro, I'm gonna tell you right now. What happens at the Blues Festival stays at the Blues Festival. Okay.
Except for herpes, right? Oh no,
That'll come back with you.
Yeah.
That'll clap back with
that'll
you.
tag along.
Speaking of tagging along and coming back at you,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about David Fincher's 2014 thriller, drama, erotic thriller. Oh, psychological drama.
I'm aroused and scared.
I saw the best tits
I
in the
bet
game.
you are.
I'm
We're gonna
scared
talk about
of-
Gone Girl, ladies and gentlemen.
Gone Girl.
Written by Gillian Flynn, who also wrote the book. This was Gillian Flynn's first screenplay.
Really?
I mean, adapted, right? He wrote the book.
Yeah.
Starring Ben Affleck, Rosamund Pike, and Neil Patrick Harris, among.
And some, Tyler Perry.
I feel like
Tyler Perry did great.
I feel like Tyler Perry should be in that name instead of Neil Patrick.
Yeah, I would say so. That's
It
fair.
was, yeah, I guess Neil Patrick was
Turn
very
to
much
Wednesday.
there for plot. But
Or marketing.
you think so? You think
This was during the time where like he was getting involved with like Smurfs and freaking.
I mean, How I Met Your Mother was at its peak.
exactly.
you know-
Oh, really?
I don't know if any of you guys
It might have
ever
had
watched
it
it.
ended.
Yeah.
I forgot if it was. I think the short was called Doctor Evil, and it was a short musical
Oh, yeah,
starring
yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris. Do you remember that one? It was like
Yeah.
on Netflix for a while.
Yeah, it was fun.
No, that's fun.
Yeah.
No, Neil Patrick Harris is cool, man. I'm a avid fan of How I Met Your Mother, like crazy, and not to mention like he does a lot of shit for Disney too. That's really cool.
I don't know from Harold and Kumar.
Yeah,
Go to White
Yeah,
Castle.
Yeah, he's hilarious. No, he's great, and he's like true to form. I think he's either going back to Broadway this year.
Nice.
He's like on the stage. He's incredible. Like he does a lot of great stage stuff. I'll say this too about Tyler Perry. I'm not the biggest Tyler Perry fan.
Same.
Just really am not. In fact, I've for years. Granted, I haven't revisited them in a very long time, but for years I'd been saying that man needs to do more dramas because his dramas are actually pretty decent. His comedies are trash, but I guess they keep the lights on
No,
and,
no, yeah, exactly that.
and they buy you a studio in Atlanta, right? But
It's one of
so
those.
who am I to say anything? But
fight
man,
for the studio,
his
wants to-
dramas and like acting in dramatic roles, dude, this dude fucking kills.
I never seen him in anything else besides this one that's drama.
Have
I
you
think
seen?
he killed it.
Have you seen Don't Look Up? The
Yeah,
fuck.
Who
made
was he
him
in that
make
one?
it? He was the news reporter.
yeah,
It's still
anchor.
not as like deep as this one.
It's more satire, but
yeah,
it's a lot less comedic.
yeah.
Well, I'm with Carlos. Like he should do more like this.
Yeah,
dramatic.
He's
Yeah.
played like small roles in his own dramatic films. That's where I've kind of seen those moments. But yeah, he's terrific. I think you should focus on that a little more.
I actually admire him too, because doesn't he have like a studio? Didn't he built a
does, man.
studio?
Out there
He
in
built
Atlanta, dude.
a former plantation.
Louisiana, where is it?
No, in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta. That's right.
He built a former plantation, like slaves, into a studio owned by a black man.
Dude,
that was
that's
like his
badass.
ultimate kind of thing. And
That's
yeah,
a mic drop right there.
yeah.
That's
I
fucking
mean, he has multiple
crazy.
sound stages. Oddly enough, he
dude,
sits in a
that's-
weird
that's
category
some
where like
inspiration.
he has a bunch of series like greenlit, like his own series on the BT. I think he owns most of the BT network now.
I wouldn't doubt that, man. For
And
sure.
most of his shows are on there, right? So like most of his shows, like the shows that they shoot on these sound stages, are shot with these cameras. Blackmagic 6Ks.
Really?
Yeah. Look it up, dude. Like,
who doesn't like
kind
a
of
director
insane.
that comes
like,
out, you know,
specifically the one that
under budget.
the one that takes place inside like the Oval Office. I think it's called the Oval, actually. Blackmagic Cinema Pocket
Well, once
6
you
case.
go,
That's dope.
Crazy, right? I'm not encouraging anybody to do that. In fact, it looks kind of whack.
just
But-
saying, once you go black magic,
You go.
you don't go back tragic. You know.
Magic Sand.
I wouldn't go like past me for Tyler Perry to want to buy Blackmagic cameras like the
Yeah.
company just to add one more thing
yeah.
to the
Yeah.
Oh, no, just to have the the whole.
motherfucker has money on money, dude. But yeah, his studio is actually really impressive. And you know,
That's cool.
I met the Dallas film commissioner at DIF. She came from Atlanta. She was the Atlanta film commissioner and then came to
Oh,
Dallas.
okay. I was gonna say okay.
And she was just talking about Atlanta, bar none, versus any other state other than New Mexico, has the best tax incentives.
Oh,
And so
Yeah,
that's part of the
that's-
reason why people like Tyler Perry just stick around and make shit. You know,
That's
Marvel
why you would
was
always
doing
see that like Georgia, like
the Peach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made in Georgia.
Yeah. And like those two, they were made in Georgia.
Congrats.
I was
Denal.
made
You know
in Georgia.
geography.
He was raised in Georgia.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
I was grown. Hell yeah. I'm a Georgia Peach.
You're Georgia
through and
Peach?
through. Yeah.
Georgia Peaches?
Yeah.
Get
You guys
outta
are El Paso.
get
Texas
outta here.
blue bonnets, baby.
Texas Blue Bonnet.
Yeah, but no, Georgia has. That's part of the reason why a lot of the
gonna kick
Marvel
his
films
ass.
were still shooting out there.
Yeah,
So,
Hey, I'm gonna kick his
Yeah.
ass.
that's pretty awesome.
Why would he say?
Why shall
You
we
didn't hear what
promote
he said?
such violence?
Even though I don't really like
Watch
most of
repeat
his
what you
films,
said.
I really appreciate that.
Repeat what you
he
just
does
said.
that.
what do you say?
My
I
bad.
think you're gonna have to repeat it for me because I forgot.
Just know we might not have a producer at the end. Of the
Oh, gosh. All
The
right.
brains are
All
gone,
right.
just like Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
Rapid fire ratings.
Yeah.
Hey, cool.
All right.
Rapid fire rating for Gone Girl. Where are we starting, Castro?
What do you?
There's two people here who haven't seen it. Just so you heads up.
Mexican.
Scanning
Yeah,
for
that's all we got here, pal. Got no other options.
I know.
Well, we got a what?
We got a white boy.
What? We got a what?
We got a white snake over there. I'll go with. Let's go with the low. Let's go with old man.
That's me.
The big
Rapid
old-
fire. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Just like an Uzi.
Oh,
there.
man.
You're thinking too much.
Clip
9.3.
Whoa.
9.3 on the Geiger counter.
Geiger?
Yeah.
The Gagger, maybe.
The gagger, bro.
9.3.
All right.
Wow, that's actually higher than I expected, but I could see him that he was actually liking it, so that's cool.
I'm at an 8.7.
Austin.
I was a buzzkill, bro.
Real boner killer, that car.
Just the fucking from hard to soft, real quick.
I'm only hard for
Like
the
this
front.
film.
I don't know, but I had to cut immediately to you when he said from hard to soft.
7.9.
Wow.
No, hold on. We got to stick here a little bit more.
So, Danny,
Nope. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Danny, remember, since you only watched half
true.
the film,
This guy came in late.
whatever you rate it.
Have you seen it before? Why don't you show your brother films, CK? You watch all
Trust
these
me.
fucking films.
CK, you're
Trust
slapping
me,
it as a brother.
I invite him every single time, but this guy would rather like.
Do
write
you
a
show up
fucking
at the door
liar.
fully erect and, hey, I'm watching a film. You coming? And then he
I
doesn't.
gotta do the stand and like hit the windmill on.
Just fucking light switches
This
it.
is why women don't watch our podcast. Go on.
There's some cool women out there.
What's your rating?
I was
Seeing
like,
the second half of it, I don't know. I was
Per
like, I
use.
was like, get a sense of like the characters and all that. So I'll give it rapid fire. I'll give it like a 8.7.
Man, so that's like what? 17.4?
and then you take the 2 and then you multiply it. So that's
You're doing
technically
great.
like,
CK.
like an 8.5 in total if you watch the whole film. So, okay,
That is
cool.
true. I'll give it a 8.9. 8.9.
8-9.
Just got on a 9, but that's all right. That's all right.
Castro, our
Man of the hour.
Fincher
Cool.
expert, connoisseur.
This is one of, I think, in the top 5 of mine, so I won't give it that high. I'll probably go with the low. Probably 9.2? 9.3?
2 point.
Top 5 Fincher or top 5 total? Like top 5 forever?
A Fincher.
Calm down.
He sounded like that kid that's like, we outside.
No, but yeah, I'll give it a 9.2 and a half. A strong 9.2 and a half, because this is my type of film, man. I like when a director could, like, blur the lines between reality and fiction.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for that, right? And I just think Ben Affleck, his acting in this one was kind of, when I first saw it, I thought it was a little too weak. But then you start seeing the whole story, and then you start seeing these documentaries that I've seen, and I think he took a little bit of part of Scott Peterson. I don't know if you guys have ever known who that is.
No.
No.
Jordan Peterson. He's also part of the, he's one of the guys that kind of, I guess, how do you say?
He's kind of like what do you call those?
He's a real killer that actually killed his wife, and they kind of like made a documentary on it.
I read that Ben Affleck like spoke to him leading up to this role.
Dude, you see their acting?
Yeah.
And it's so brilliant because he's a husband that's stuck in this thing that he doesn't want to overdo things and doesn't want to underdo things, right? So that's why when I first saw the script, when I first saw him acting in it, I was like, oh, he's just not doing anything. He's playing the lazy husband, which is in the script, but it's so genius
Yeah.
when you're trying to pull off this guy that's not trying to do too much in front of the media.
Sure.
And that's how the media works now. The media literally controls the narrative in this.
Yeah.
In this.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of my biggest takeaways from this. That I
very
love
cool.
how they blend that.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting to see that, again, the concept of the media is a character in the film.
Sure. Ooh.
And that character is, I don't know, it's just written in very well.
Yeah.
Because there's always this sense of like, no matter what he does, or what conversation he has between Ben Affleck and his sister or the lawyer or, you know, the wife's
man, she was
character.
terrific too, the sister.
Yeah. But no matter what conversation, there's always a separate conversation that everybody pauses for so they can listen to what the media is saying and trying to have
Sure.
that back and forth. And I think
How that
that's,
feeds.
Yeah, it's interesting. To me, it really puts you in the mindset of how alive that world
Sure,
is.
sure.
And also the fact that, like, when I watch a lot of these documentaries, or you see on the news, like, oh, this missing person case, or there is still ongoing, like the murder of so and so and their spouse, you feel just how real the media is at their door. You know,
Yeah.
like they don't even have to be like right next to them, but they constantly have to like whisper even in their own house because they know the media is right there, scrutinizing them.
Yeah.
And you see Ben Affleck's tension, and I think to see him play that so well made me really appreciate like the character in
Yeah,
that
for
role.
sure.
You know,
If you guys see Jordan Peterson, what made his like whole courtroom drama, the real thing that happened, so big was that you couldn't pinpoint if he was guilty or not. Just like with this one, obviously this one's the movie we know that he didn't really kill her, but with him, it's one of those like he's playing like Ben Affleck played him.
Yeah.
This guy that he's not overdoing this thing where it's like I miss my wife, and he's not like underplaying it.
yeah.
And that's the brilliance of this film, where he's just kind of lost. He's kind of like trapped because this whole media went into into his life without him, like, oh shit, from one day to another. So he's kind of stuck in that little limbo of like, damn, I can't do too much, I can't do too little.
Yeah.
And he played it brilliantly. Just
Yeah.
You know,
And I remember, my bad, I'm going a little rant right here. No, and I remember the way David Fincher casted. I heard he casted Ben Affleck is that he was looking, how directors look at pictures of, the what do you call them?
headshots.
The headshots. And he said that
They weren't even headshots. They were just Google images.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so and that he saw one of the pictures that Ben Affleck is really known for his little smirk. And we all know Ben Affleck kind of doesn't like the media, so it kind of plays in kind of pretty brilliant in this one. And he saw one that he kind of smirks. He does this. And he said that was what sold him, because that's the perfect smirk of, is he guilty or not?
Yeah.
Is it just, is it the camera's flashing and anybody that's been asked for a selfie, you just go.
Yeah.
So I love this acting in this one. I love
Oddly
how
enough, there was somebody else that was ahead of Ben Affleck to be cast for this.
John Hamm.
John Hamm, but they couldn't make his Mad Men schedule work, so he had to drop out.
You know
How
what was
crazy
really
that
cool
works.
Yeah.
about Ben Affleck's performance, what I noticed from the little bit that I saw too, he gave little clues too. Like one example was that moment when we're watching the TV. We're watching him like what was her name? Amy Schneider or whatever. Like that moment where he was like, "Oh, I love my wife" and all that stuff. At the very end, he had like a moment where he right before he was about to say "I love my wife," or when he said it, he kind of and then
two
did
fingers.
it. It's almost like he's wiping off
fingers.
this lie that he knows that he did. Those little clues.
And only that
gives you
only
the
she
sense-
knows, yeah.
Yeah, those little clues even give
Yeah.
you like he's performing this even in this kind of world, but what he's really feeling is like what he's kind of doing, the kind of stuff. And I noticed little things like that, and like
there's a
so
bunch of them.
I really liked how he elevated his performance more with those little things, even though like in this how do I say it? Like throughout from what I saw, he was kind of little more not dead,
yeah,
but
more neutral.
buried like that.
I
You know
feel
what I mean?
like,
more neutral. Yeah, couldn't find the word for it.
When you see the performance,
Happens.
when you see the performance, and especially like his character talking about how everybody's scrutinizing him, you're placed in that the viewership role. I love the fact that like every time I'm looking at Ben Affleck's character at the first half of the movie, you really want to feel you're going through the question of like, is he guilty? Is he not? Like, can I somehow in my like, I don't know, viewer mind detect the little nuances that the film is like proposing so I could tell, oh, he killed her, oh, he didn't. And I know Austin said that, early on he was able to get it, but definitely with me, I felt like oh, it's gonna be interesting if later on that like smirk
Right.
earlier at the press
Right.
conference, like
Yeah.
if that plays into it, because it's so quick, it's so brief, and then it does, or like
Yeah, for sure.
the selfie or little things he does that you're trying to piece it together. And I think that's what a good thriller does, is that
Sure.
it's getting you enticed.
reeling you in.
Yeah, it's reeling you in. And I think this one, for it being a genre picture, like it just did an amazing job at really drawing you in. That's why I was so reactive towards the end, because I'm so invested in all those little details that when it all comes to light and everything just kind of explodes, it feels just ginormous, trying to like take in all the little twists and turns that were going on throughout the film.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the audience becomes much more invested and interactive with the film, and I think that's kind of, I forget if it was Fincher or Hitchcock who said it, but they're just like, if you let the audience figure it out for themselves, they'll love you forever.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't feed them too much, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, Fincher does this in spades and Congo. And he also doesn't shove the tropes down your throat, which I think is special. You know, a thriller can and
He's coming around, guys.
and Fincher is like notorious for, I guess, doing that in his early days, right? But perhaps he didn't know any better. But now, like, it's I think it's fair to say he knows how to play jump rope with these tropes.
Yeah.
What's more is
I keep telling you, man, he kind of got into a weird era when he married Madonna. Oh no,
Madonna.
Married Madonna.
no, that's Guy Ritchie, my bad.
Holy shit.
I'm praying for it.
Damn.
No, but I will say this: a screening at this time. Like, my wife loves this film, but it was also, she fell in love with this film when she was at the height of her true crime obsession. You know,
Oh, really?
Because every woman goes through a true
Sure,
crime
you passed
obsession.
it. I'm still in that.
Nah, yeah, she kind of stick around. But she then in turn fell in love with Rosamund Pike. And like, for instance, like we saw that film, I Still Care,
I care a lot.
or I Care a Lot. Is it I Care a
With
Lot?
Oh, that's
Peter
a good
Dinklage,
one,
right?
dude.
Yeah.
That's
With
all her.
Dinklage?
Dinklage, I think.
Is Dinklage in it? I don't think so. No, it's about like her being a rep, like a medical rep. I Care a Lot.
For old folks home.
For old folks' homes. Yeah, it is Dinklage.
Oh shit!
remember
Yeah,
Dinklage in
yeah, my bad.
Like that film, you want to see Rosamund Pike like
her
in this performance,
carry
like on
everything.
steroids.
Yeah.
You watch I Care a Lot.
It'll piss you off.
It also for me opened up a world of like a lot more was happening in this vein. Like this was around the time also when like when I Care a Lot came out. Promising Young Woman came out.
Which one's on?
Oh yeah, with Carey Mulligan. Right?
Yeah, with Carey Mulligan.
Dude, and then the writer is also the writer/director for
Saltburn.
Saltburn. Most recently.
Oh, that's good.
It's such a terrific film. I like Promising Young Woman over Saltburn actually, but it's she uses a lot of the same techniques. She's very inspired by Fincher.
I heard that Reese Witherspoon was supposed to be for this part, but Fincher was like, "You have too much of an expression face.
Yeah, you're not right for this.
You're not right for
And then
this."
she ended up getting an Academy Award nomination for Wild.
Yeah.
The same year.
But then she met Pike, and she was like, "Oh yeah, this girl has that face where it's like you don't know if it's neutral.
Yeah, and
You don't know."
Reese's company owns the rights to the
Yeah, she bought the
optioned
book in 2012 or something.
and she's an executive producer on this thing. Like she was still involved in making the picture, but yeah, no,
I think it was a good choice because Reese Witherspoon's too known.
Yeah,
at this
she's
point
too
in-
sweet. She's
to her face is too much. Whereas
like,
this
and
one-
that's part of the reason of like why casting Ben Affleck, because you're right, he's never really been fond of the press, but almost more importantly, he's been very vocal about that, and he's
especially
kind
now.
of became the bad boy in a lot of the sense in the media again. So you're already going to believe that from this character. One of the interesting things that like this is the only film, the first and only film, where he went full frontal nudity.
I saw the tip for sure.
Yeah, he shows the tip. But he had never done that for a film before, and him and Fincher agreed, like, this is, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Like, this is the commitment to this character. I want to genuinely see. I mean, how much more, like, vulnerable can you get, right?
And
for
I
a
get it
character.
when like actors go up to the directors like, is this needed? Is this
Yeah.
part needed? And you definitely need that,
Yeah.
right? Because she doesn't want
In
to
that
know
scenario,
if he's
yeah.
wired.
Yeah.
She's taking off the blood. It's kind of
But
like a little
if you think
psycho
about it,
reference there.
like somebody pointed it out, like they're like, okay, we see this man's bare ass and more, and then like she doesn't, you don't see her naked, but that's part of the character discussion, right? Is he's vulnerable, he's bare, he's genuinely telling the truth. She's not. She's still covering herself, or at least that's how we're seeing her as the audience.
But then she washes it away, though.
She's washing away her sins. She's washing away the blood. She's washing it like in the sense of like, I'm gonna come out clean from this, at least in her eyes, right?
I love that.
And to point that out, like the conversation he's having with Ben's character at the time is, we're gonna play ball. You and I are gonna play ball.
Oh, that's the ending there. It's that
You know?
ending's
So in order for us to play
Real.
ball, we gotta wipe the slate clean. We gotta wipe the blood off. No blood on either of our hands, and we just go about this and play this game.
Is it true that the original name of this one was called Psycho Bitch?
I don't know.
Yeah. But they were like, no, that's too.
What
That's
could have
what
been of the
people wanted
book?
to call
I mean,
it.
I would assume it was of the book because
you
the
check
book
that
is
out?
the same name.
No, I think Fincher, somebody wanted to call it Psycho Bitch.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know.
What does it say? I can't see.
The novel Gone Girl. Gone Girl is the title of both the novel and the film adaptation.
No, but put Psycho Bitch, bro. Let's see if
You'll
something
get some
comes out.
pictures that I don't know if anybody else is ready for.
Maybe.
I heard something about. Oh, look how Gone Girl, Amy challenges the Psycho Bitch trope.
That Gone Girl kind of redefined, or at the very least, like strengthened what a femme fatale is. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
Femme fatales were notorious for noirs, which I guess thrillers have kind of, absorbed the noir genre in a sense.
Yeah.
And the femme fatale character was a tale as old as time, right? The girl that you fall in love with that fucks you over or that kills you. That's literally why the fatale part of femme fatale's in there.
Exactly.
And I love that something like Gone Girl redefines that, and makes this character. I brought it up earlier during the screening, but the idea was like, oh fuck, I hate this scene when they steal the money from her.
Oh,
When
because
they-
you were saying like they're caring for her.
Yeah, because that's one of the roller coaster dips, right? Is like they make you care for her in this small moment. You care for her, you're like, oh fuck, she's not gonna get away with this. I wasn't rooting against her necessarily in that scenario. I was just like, oh shit, what's she gonna do now? And one of the shots that really impacted me this time around was like when she's on the payphone in the truck stop, and the camera's just pulling back to show you like she wasn't prepared for this. If this phone call doesn't work out, she's in the middle of nowhere. She doesn't know where the fuck she is. She has literally quarters. That's all she has left in the world. She can't go back to her parents for money or whatever. Like she's like, so in a weird kind of twisted way, like I think the audience sympathizes for her. And then that goes away fairly quickly once once the Neil Patrick Harris character comes into play.
It's enough sympathy so that way Neil Patrick Harris can come on in.
Yeah.
And she's not just this like psychotic character. It's like enough. Also, even if you want to like justify the fantasy of like the story and everything like that, everything indicates that to all the other characters that she's dead.
Yeah.
So then when he comes in, it's like, oh, not only am I seeing you, but you're alive.
Yeah.
And like, how do I process that? And then the only way we can process that is that emotionally we have a beat right before that makes her seem vulnerable and like in need of help. And then we like compound it with everything she says to him.
Yeah.
So then we're able to be as sold as he is.
Right.
When it comes to like how she's able to just like control him and manipulate the next like set of sequences.
No, for
But,
sure.
Yeah.
Not to mention the layers there are to this character. It's extremely well written because you use the voiceover to dictate. I mean, it's her story. It's her
Right.
story. The operative word being story.
And that's the entire first half.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even parts of the second, right? Like, I really just like the layers of this character in terms of like, she's an only child. Her parents used her as this cash cow,
Since 10 years old.
and that's all she knows and that's all she hates. And she meets a much more grounded guy who owns a bar or is a teacher at a community college. And this grounds her in a way that she's never had, and she's a trust fund baby and that type of thing.
There we go. That's a key one, yeah.
And that's where half of that craziness comes from.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
oh.
entitlement, you know,
Yes.
the entitlement and audacity of like, there are no consequences. I have money or prestige, or I come from a certain family.
Always
And
get
it's
what you
funny, man,
want.
because I analyze this a lot more in the screening because, you know, when she's spinning her yarn, it's, we moved. I wish he would have asked me, you know, and
That's
we
a
went
good
to
one.
his hometown and da-da-da. And then, you know, he kind of brings it up in the sense of like, I didn't move to be home. I moved because my mom was dying of cancer and I wanted
But
to be with
that's
her.
a little bit deeper where it's like, that's marriage. Sometimes, like, you know, you're
Right.
so comfortable with each other, you don't have to ask. But really,
No,
you do.
no. And that's the big thing, man. Like, if anything, I'm sure, like, now married people watch this thing and you get into it. Like, I think CK or maybe Danny made a joke earlier that was like, this is a horror film. Aren't you seeing this? And for married people, I think you could kind of analyze that a bit of like, this is how bad it can get if you don't fucking make it work.
Exactly.
In the sense of like compromise and genuinely like communicating and shit like that.
I read somewhere like he made marriage worse than a home invasion.
I mean, yeah, dude, it's crazy, but it's a scary kind of thought. But it does go like pretty deep. They're deep cuts for married people,
dude,
man.
even I've never been married, but I've been in certain situations where you just gotta be like,
Yeah.
I gotta play this part so we
Yeah.
can just look nice and no rumors.
And that's the key phrase, right? Are you playing a part or are you
That's how
happy
it
in your
ends,
marriage,
right?
And that's
They're playing-
that's the exploration I think for any married couple is like, watch this film. Are
That's
you
why I
playing
gave
the
it such a
part
high
or
one,
are you
'cause-
truly happy in your marriage?
Exactly.
Because
Because
it's
no,
an
even
interesting
then,
exploration.
The whole exploration of the fact that there's two sides to a story, and
Right.
like
Always.
I love Tyler Perry being kind of like the grounding factor,
the
the
strategic
gummy
one.
bear throwing grounding factor.
because I think
He had a
he's
plan.
able to recognize that on both of their sides,
Yeah.
they're trying to manipulate their side
Oh, yeah.
of the story to be as good as it can possibly be. That when
Yeah.
they come together, he's like, both of you are the craziest people I've ever seen. You know,
like
like
that.
I
I don't
deal
know.
with that. You know.
I don't know if it's just
Oh,
because
when
like
they
of
first
what
met,
the,
like
the
I'm sold. Like, sorry.
Yeah, no. I don't know if this is like just because of the bombshell we got hit with today. From our current administration about tariffs on film.
Oh.
But I couldn't help but think when he's coaching him, you know, when he's coaching him, and he says the phrase like, "This isn't about this court case is not about the truth. It's about you being liked." And I couldn't help but think about like just how presidencies and campaigns. It's all campaigning, right?
Yeah.
There's virtually no
Exactly.
difference. You're campaigning to be liked, and that's how you get elected.
likable are you than the other person?
That's why our court system is royally fucked up because that's what it is. It becomes a popularity contest. You know, it's pretty insane. That got me thinking today of like, shit, man, this is really
Yeah,
this is really how you win. You know,
Well, I felt
You
like
gotta play
the
the game.
same way in Anatomy of a Fall. Like when
Right.
we watched that one,
Oh.
the whole notion behind it being that
Yeah.
we're not going to be able to get all the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, guilty and innocent is decided on how you feel and where your empathy wants to lie at the end of the day.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, and that's why. I feel like Anatomy of a Fall does it really, really well, but this one takes you on the idea that both sides are not great,
right?
but who do you want to sympathize with more?
Sure.
Where does sympathy lie in the whole thing?
You know,
And
50 Cent.
My take on this is like, if it's neat enough and the media says it neat enough, we'll take it, and that's scary.
Yeah,
Like if it's interesting enough, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
With that narrative,
Yeah.
and that's crazy.
as opposed to seeking the truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it's a good story, we'll go with the story instead of
And there's still some outlets out there that are relatively neutral.
CNN. My bad.
Are relatively neutral, not just like major outlets, but I was talking to a buddy.
No, I love
No, I was
it.
talking to a buddy who left a news station here in town and is working for another news station. And we're talking about, like, he was saying, like, you know how good it feels to now work for a non-biased news outlet?
Oh, I can imagine.
And I
where they
was
could
like,
just-
yeah, it was that. And
it was
like,
that
you
bad
know,
over there.
and you wouldn't have thought the one he was working for was that
Yeah.
leaned one way or another. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, it's powerful, man. The media's powerful.
That's why I really like this film, where it just shows you. I love these documentaries and how these people go through this stuff, and it's like,
Yeah.
like, yo, it's not about telling the truth. It's how likable you are, what you can
Yeah.
prove, what you could. It's insane.
Like, isn't there recently? Wasn't one of the big splashes in true crime? Some like 89-year-old man who's like has been in prison most of his life, and is like, I'm dying, so I'm doing my final interview, and like does a whole press run. I forget his name, but he had a popular like moniker, like the Forest Woods Killer or some shit. I don't know what he was called, but yeah, he was like 89 or 87 or something. And he's like, they're like, why are you admitting to your murders now? You've never said a peep to anybody. You've been arrested, but
Why
you were
now?
never like. He's like, because I got cancer, and I might as well tell my story. And like, does it with a smile on his face, man. Like, is it
I'll
this
give
guy?
him credit for not dying with it. At least spilling his beans. But
there's something
goddamn,
to it, right?
James Whitey Bulger.
It might have
Isn't
been,
he?
yeah.
he's the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah.
He's the one that was like an informant for the cops in
The
Boston.
Donnie Brasco thing, no?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah, yeah. No.
Or which one?
I think it was.
Whitey Bulger
Oh,
is the
no. You're thinking of the
informant.
Black Mass, right? The Black Mass
Black
shotgun
Mass,
film.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
not him. Or is it?
I don't know. I feel like there was another recent,
Yeah.
like, convicted felon or something. It might have been that one, actually. That's stories from 2024, so I don't know.
Whitey Bulger.
He's a
Evil Eddie.
Mobsters turn
Evil
informant.
Eddie. Anyways, yeah, that's like one of the big splashes right now is like, I kind of want to tell my story. I kind of want my story told. I
Yeah?
admit I killed 17 people in these woods, and I killed 39 people in this side of the country, and yeah, man, it's interesting. It's
Question back towards the movie. I think in the genre of thriller needs to have a good hook. It needs to keep you all the way through. It needs to keep you wanting to try to think ahead of what's going to be happening. And I think it does all that well. And it did it well enough where that's why I give it like a high rating.
Yeah,
Going back to like your rating, which would like think like an 8.7. What are elements that you feel like as an auteur he could have improved on
thinking
to
of
make
that.
it more long lasting? Because I think the story's there for that. But do you feel like the lacking is in directing style, or what's stopping you
I
from?
wouldn't call it lacking in anything. Again, I just think I ceiling at an 8.7 because of personal taste, but that's not to say that he's necessarily missing anything. I mean, I think as an auteur, I hate using the word improving because you do improve as a storyteller, but the things that make you an auteur you almost don't know about till much later in your career.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know if, I mean, Fincher's definitely an auteur, but
He's been, 30 years in the game?
I
Yeah.
don't know. Has he made that many?
Well, he started in
Alien,
87?
right?
Alien 3.
Alien 3.
Yeah.
87, I think.
Well, yeah, my point to it is, like, I don't know that I could judge it on those merits. I think the thing I'd like to kind of more judge it on is cinematically.
Okay.
He used all these situations conventionally and unconventionally to tell a good story. I mean, for instance, just like we talked about the use of the voiceover. He used that in a much more fresher way. You know, we didn't get voiceover at the beginning of the film, like right out the gate necessarily. And we got it from Ben Affleck's character when he's like combing her hair and saying like,
Yeah,
"What are
from
you
the-
thinking?
from-
Can
yeah.
I crack your pretty little skull right now?" You know these
And
things.
did you notice that it's the same shot but different?
Yeah,
The first one, she's
she's calm, she's tame.
yeah. And the second one,
She-
before she turns,
He reacts. Yeah.
she's kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah. But I took
David
that to be
Fincher, man.
like like an animalistic thing, right? Like I'm petting the dog that's angry, but when he turns around abruptly, it's like shit, he's gonna bite me.
Exactly.
But
That's a good way to put it.
yeah, so I think for instance, I also think like he uses Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross to write his scores, right? And then this one,
Score was good.
the idea behind this score is that he went to a spa, David Fincher. He
What
went
type
to a
of spa?
spa. I don't know.
A Bill Belichick spot?
He went to a spa.
Oh, no, Bill Belichick.
And
Bill Belichick's
I mean, the owner of the Patriots.
and he walks into this, and he's in his robe, and he's trying to get a massage or relax or whatever.
Sean Watson's pet massage.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
And he says he's in the spa, and he's like, I'm trying to relax, and I'm closing my eyes, and I'm listening to the music that they put, and I got really creeped out. It's like, so the music that's supposed to make me feel relaxed makes me feel like someone's watching me, or like it's a creepy vibe. That's the only note he gave to Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Is like,
Really?
this feel that I got in a spa that made me feel very creeped out. That's what I want the music to be like. If you're in a spa and it's nice on the surface, but then you really like let it feed you, and you're like, Why do I feel so uneasy? I should feel relaxed right now.
You could definitely sense that in the final sequences where she's back at home. The media's like, oh, look at this beautiful family finally reunited and all that kind of stuff. And the music, again, the facade is, it's so happy because they're going through a happy circumstance. But then as you focus in on it, it has this eerie uneasiness of like...
It felt like the score of Clockwork Orange. You know, when they're in the bar, when they're in the bar and they're drinking their acid milk, and the camera's pulling back, and it's like these high synths, but it sounds like classical music at first listen, and then you're like, oh shit, what's about to pop out from around the corner right now? It felt like Clockwork Orange in a lot of the sense. So again, using those cinematic techniques, marrying them, I mean, extremely well. And I think David Fincher is starting to prove himself as a guy who knows how to pick IP, man. He knows how to pick a good story. To my knowledge, David Fincher was attached to another film that fell into development hell, which was if I'm not mistaken, a sequel or a remake of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And he was attached, and they were ready to go. And then the movie fell through, and he quickly just latched onto this project. And that's why we have Gone Girl.
Okay.
So he knows how to pick a good book, man. He knows how to pick up a good book and realize that.
I also think that he's found a beautiful way to express a style and emotion that comes in the cop
procedural
back rooms. Yeah, the cop procedural. Because a lot of times you'll look at a cop procedural and it's just almost like a whodunit, but very, very structured.
Very
and he adds a lot of emotionality to moments. He knows how to bring out in characters. Again, like Coster was saying, the realism of giving a reaction, but not too much and not too little, because what you as an audience member want is for them to just give it all to the screen. But in real life, they're playing their own chess game of how much do I smile? How much do I not smile? How much do I need to be the sad puppy? And how much do I need to be aggressive? You know,
I think what you don't want as an audience member, and again, I'm not the best person to comment on this principle, but I think that I look at thrillers like a loose thread on a shirt, and if you, as filmmakers and as cinephiles, we always just want to pull on the thread, and we're like, I know how to unravel this.
That's good.
But when you can't find the thread, that's what makes it interesting for me. And I think that's at least the first couple times where I saw Gone Girl was like, that's the thread. I'm going to latch on to that one. That's the one to start pulling. And then bloop, another one pops up over here. It's like, that's the thread.
Nice.
Let me start. And then all of a sudden you're pulling 5 threads and they're all cohesive. It's extremely interesting.
I love the fact that up till the first, the half, the midway point of the film, you really are convinced, oh no, this guy's a piece of shit. You're just convinced, this guy's a piece of shit.
You see
I'm just gonna watch this film to find out how he killed his wife, and what the motives were, and especially when the his girlfriend comes on in, that the young girl, you feel oh yeah, this is set and everything, and it's not till again we finally get the cut to her in a car driving away from everything she's done.
Is that the cool girl scene? Where she finally manifests everything, where she's like...
No. It's right before that. It's when she first gets into the car and she's driving and she's snacking on...
Where she see her with the...
She's got a burger.
Oh, okay. That's way in the beginning. My bad,
But I feel something like that where, you're able to, agree with her or, really doubt Ben Affleck's character up until that point, you know?
Yeah, right there. It's oh, you thought you were on board here.
Yeah.
Nope,
and if you try to find any clue, with me, I'm okay, he obviously did it, but what are the clues? It's the smirk and the fact that he's so stale in his reaction about
exactly.
Come on, guys,
bit of a
find
lesson.
my wife. Yeah,
bit of a lesson for us, right? To be don't be so quick to judge, you piece of shit. That's just an asshole.
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean he's a dick.
And that's something I find so interesting, because in this one and when we watch Zodiac, his ability to really heighten the personification of these locations or people and what they do, it's very impressive. You know, they're not just I think a lot of times if you see a cop come on into play in other films, the cop is not there to be a genuine cop. The cop's there to serve as a like a pawn in the bigger story.
sure.
As either a block or something where here, I mean, they're these dynamic characters.
Yeah,
You know?
it's so great. I think a lot about the characters that I guess you can call them bystanders, for instance, like her parents, right? They're still just trying to milk the cow in this scenario,
Dude.
right? And I think a lot about the sister character too. And by the way, this was her first film, the sister.
That's crazy.
never done a
She
film
really
before.
killed it.
Go?
Yeah,
Margot?
Margot.
Whoa.
That actress.
She was a great
is it
piece in
Jodie
this
Comer?
film.
What's her name? Carrie Coon.
Oh, wow.
Carrie Coon had never done a fucking film before, man. Can you believe it? She's terrific in this.
She nailed just the support, the
Since
the
then, she's
shoulder.
been in quite a few things. But yeah, this was her first film ever.
She was
And
in Endgame.
yeah, and
I wonder what as.
I think about these characters in the context that, like, the sister obviously grounds everything for them. The parents obviously make you understand that they're the first domino in this fucking situation.
Yeah.
I love Ben Affleck's line when she's like back home and hugging the kids. And before he's going to go up there and play his part, he's like, you must be very proud to the parents.
Oh, yeah.
And that's such a backhanded compliment of
Yo,
like, I
that's-
fucking know what you guys turned her into, you
Exactly.
stupid idiots. And then on top of that, like the Emily Ratajkowski character has a lot of I mean, she's famous, right? She's model famous. Like she was also famous for being in a Robin Thicke video. Completely
Well, that's what he
nude.
told
Fincher, right?
Fincher. Like, I got this girl from a music video.
Yeah, but because that's a tabloid situation. There's a utility to that character. Is my point. I don't know why every time I watch this film, one of the most interesting characters to me, and it's not because the character is particularly interesting. It's because it's fairly easy to follow this thread or manipulate somebody this easily. Is like befriend town idiot or whatever, right? The pregnant girl that she befriends to like vent to, and he beats me, and then she's like the biggest advocate of like, tell him what you did to your wife, and it's like, dude, you have no idea. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you genuinely have no idea. But it's so good. But I think about that character a lot in every screening because like it's like, yeah, look how many people just follow blindly, like, and how easy it is to manipulate somebody that way.
Well, she's the one that spills the beans with the pregnant.
Yeah.
And then it just turns to the parents. They're like,
Yeah. It's
and he literally chases them out away.
It's an interesting character. I think it represents a side of society that they just talk shit blindly.
Yes.
Or like, again, the internet
And you
people
know who
who
you
like
are.
you could go up and comment on shit and they're like, well, that's because I saw it on TikTok, and it's like,
Or I read
That's
it
it.
in a headline.
I read it in the headline. Yeah, it's and the source isn't even a reliable source.
Like walking in the dark, bro.
It's
Like,
really
come on.
crazy, man. That character I always think about when I watch this film. It's yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it's one of those that kind of like moves it. It's a very key piece for the film.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's a very important thing to do whenever you're creating something that's kind of like a mystery.
Yeah.
Is again bringing back that film Short Term 12. It's a really, really great film, but there's a lot of shit that's going on. It's about like this group of like kids, but you're following the counselors to take care of them. But these kids are all kind of like fucked up. They all come from like messed up passes.
Right.
Pass. But they have Remy Malek's character in there specifically, so you can follow him and kind of agree with his character.
Okay.
Brie Larson is doing her own thing. Her boyfriend's doing his own thing. Another character is doing their own thing.
Right.
But when it comes to Remy Malek's character,
Yeah.
that's a character that's most relatable to what you're thinking.
Sure.
But something that's very interesting about Fincher's films is like specifically this one. You have the two cops. You have the female one and the male
Right.
one. They're both showing two different sides of the audience. It's almost
Right.
like they're both that one
Oh,
entity. So the
man,
male cop,
that's good.
Yeah, the male cop is the one that's kind of like, yo, this guy's a dick. While the
Yeah.
female cop is the one that's
the,
like, yo,
the surface level. I
Yeah.
feel like the
Exactly.
surface level of
It's pretty on the nose, but I gotta see
It is. I'd say it's a bit of a trope, isn't it? It's a bit of
Yeah,
a like
but it's
procedural
good.
trope. Is like
Yeah.
good cop, bad cop.
Also, he's kind of the
But-
sounding board, and a lot of times when he does have dialogue, he's a
Yes.
sounding board for whatever's going on
What
in
looks
the
obvious.
people's mentality
Exactly.
Yeah.
because
Whatever-
of the media.
Exactly.
Like the fact that he's like, "Oh, can't we just lock this guy up?" And it's like, "Oh, no, we can't." Like,
We don't have
there's-
enough evidence.
There's procedures.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
find a weapon and all that
We
kind of
need
stuff.
the
It's like,
body.
oh, I think-
We need a
Look at the
body.
last scene with him. By the way, that's the kid from Almost Famous, which I thought's fucking
hell
great.
yeah, Patrick Fugit.
yeah.
Is that his name?
That's his legal name, Patrick
Fugit.
Fugit.
He also comes out in the film called Saved, by the way, which if you haven't seen, it's actually really cool. It's like a commentary on Christianity. It's a really cool film.
Save.
Saved. But the last scene with those two, where they're like in the room, and then she's like doing the conversation with the police and the FBI, and they're sitting there, and you think they're gonna buddy it up. They're finally gonna buddy it up.
Can't you just be happy your wife's back?
Yes, because he's like, now how would she find a box cutter when she's tied up in a bedroom? And he's just like, again, unraveling the shirt here. He's like, can't you just fucking be happy that your wife's home? Like, it's
it's ridiculous. And I think, oh man, that's why like I was so visceral, because
that's good writing.
The second really you get to a place where then the audience, like, I mean, they leave you probably for a pocket of like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes of like, you find out that she is a psycho bitch. She kills this other dude, does enough to frame him to look like he kidnapped her.
Her stalker, by the way.
Yeah.
Just when you thought
and then afterwards you find out like, oh, and then she's just gonna go back to the home with Ben Affleck's character, and you're just on like the edge of like, oh man, is there no justice? Is nothing gonna?
I felt that way in the airport bar, right?
Yeah.
He's talking to Tyler Perry's character, and then the cop, the lady cop, and they're all kind of like, well, good luck, kid. We can't do anything else for you. And it's like, wait, you two are the both the key representations of the law, of justice, and both of you are kind of like, yeah, it sucks. Like, we believe you, where you're obviously telling the truth. We can't really, our hands are tied.
It's the biggest slap in the face.
I'm going back home. Like, sorry, kid, I really can't do anything about this. Like, and I love that.
I'm saying like that's the way the world works.
The line that the cop says, she's like, we stained the carpet, dude. We stained the rug.
Oh,
we just can't. Yeah. We can't fucking do anything.
We can't go back.
Oh man, it's so interesting. Yeah.
Do you want to read a journal entry from the real journal?
No, definitely not. Jason, get your journal back. Jason brought a journal he found or stole. I don't know.
That UTEP student is gonna watch this episode and get fucking livid.
I'm pretty sure that UTEP student's trying to frame us.
Did it come with a name or anything? Yeah. Sure. Well, we can't.
What are you gonna do? Report?
We can't really make a phone call or anything.
What did you guys think of?
I don't know where he found this.
Ben Affleck's dad. I think he has a reason. I think he has a reason for that.
I think that, and I made the joke earlier of the save the cat moment. But
what does that mean? What do you mean?
Okay, so the whole thing that we brought it up before in other episodes, but the whole save the cat moment is that this concept in script writing, that if you need to at some point in time help your audience like sympathize with a character who maybe is kind of a dick or like just like doesn't have a lot going for them, what you'll do is that you'll make them like save a cat from a tree, or you'll have them like give money to a stranger, something that
it's a relative cheap, easy moment to make you care.
So what do you guys think of the dad was in?
No, that there were moments where you see Ben Affleck's character that we're watching this dude very emotionless, reacting to his wife disappearing one day, and he calls the cops and everything to say like, oh, she's gone, I don't know what to do. But he's also very like cold and distant about her disappearance, that he's almost like, if she doesn't come back, then she doesn't come back.
But he's more concerned about the dad being at the police station.
Yeah.
He's more reactive anymore.
Yeah.
But why?
Well,
I have a reason.
It basically gives like humanity to him. I think that's one element. I'm not going to say that that's everything.
It's like, lucky son of a bitch.
No, I think it's one of those where he's got this uncontrollable bitch, whatever he has this thing.
Tourette's or whatever,
He doesn't want that to be spilled up on him from the media. So he's trying to keep that like,
that's interesting. But the media hadn't been a part of it yet.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, people could talk about that. Like, the dad, so,
I think it's I think it's a plot device. I think it's a plot device for two reasons. I think it's a plot device for, like, to show, like, oh, you lucky motherfucker, you get to drive your dad home so you don't have to sit in this police station and answer more uncomfortable questions.
But then the way he looks at him, kind of like...
No, what he even says, like, she's like, you want to drive him home? And he's like, yeah, I think that'd be wise. Like, let's stop talking about this, right?
No, I see. That's why I think, like, it'd be wise. Like, I don't want him to be just somebody catch a camera on him.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's interesting.
He's calling girls bitches.
The other reason I think it's a plot device is just to introduce that he has a dad with an empty house.
That's good too.
Because that house ends up playing a bigger equation, right?
And then after that moment, then later on we hear that the dad's been put in a home or facility. Yeah. So then it just becomes like one extra like domino that can kick off everything to say like, oh, and he's also able to stash stuff at his dad's
You know
place.
how much of why I think it's like the ultimate plot device too, because Tyler Perry's character says it. He's like, when he's like training him with the gummy bears, he's like, yeah, you know, I moved back home because my mom had cancer and my dad, you know, and then he throws a gummy bear and he's like, fuck, he's like, your dad's scorched earth. We can't get anything out of the dad side. Just go back to your mom. There's the sympathy. Like your dad, like he's scorched earth. There's nothing we can get, no sympathy we can get from the dad. But the mom dying of cancer, you moving back for her.
We could use that, yeah.
We could use that, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It's
interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, gentlemen,
I gotta say this, man. I don't know why, but I'm super glad that Delo over here give it a 9.3.
Well, look how
don't know
reactive
why.
he was during the screening, man. Like, it was literally like, oh, you bitch. Delao
I thought it was just like him.
was reacting to Gone Girl the way a normal Mexican mother would react to a novella. That's how this motherfucker was like,
That's what I love.
you bitch, she's not.
I did not expect
like,
that.
To me, it was all the tension of
Because this is not Delo.
knowing the pieces. It was all the tension of knowing the pieces at play.
Yeah.
And seeing that nothing could be done about it, and the fact that it just like
With the ending,
like
they're stuck with each other.
I think also the fact that like I got a little glimpse of like how we had like maybe like 15 minutes left in the runtime,
right?
And you like know that like, oh man, she's really just gonna get away with it.
Yeah,
like,
that's an interesting way.
and also the tension of
50 minutes to
she
50?
was trying to put this guy on death row, like and stage a murder, and then just go and live her life fine. And then when things started like not going according to plan, then she's like, oh, okay, then we'll just loop back around. It's like, hey, look, I'm back.
I lost all my money. So
Yeah, and then the fact that like the officer who was like, wait a minute, like how did you get the box cutter? Like, wait, like how would you, like why were you trying to buy a gun?
tension.
And like the whole case towards him murdering you was super solid. But now you come back and it's not solid, and oh no, I want to go back with him, and oh he's safe and all that. Like, you just, to me, I felt all that
narrator.
Stress of like, damn it, like we're gonna let her get away with it. Yeah. So
I'll tell you this much.
It was okay.
We don't know how much validity
Get out
there
of
was.
here.
But
do you think it was? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You need to watch more documentaries, bro.
there's a potential
Touch grass.
sequel
To Gone Girl?
to Gone Girl?
There's a what?
What?
Potential sequel.
It's Gone Guy.
Yeah. So David Fincher has never really expressed
Gone
that.
boy, bro. Come on.
Yeah. That he wants to do it necessarily, but Rosamund Pike said like, I'll come back if Gillian writes the script.
Do you think it would work for this type of half and half? Like how would you?
No, cinematically, I don't think it would work. I think cinematically, this is an exploration of this theme. Let's leave it there.
Yeah,
What do you
exactly.
think happens, right?
I'm 100% with you.
But I know for the fans, I guess, you know, for the ones who like selfishly for my wife, she'd love a fucking sequel out of this. There's a little bit of controversy on that not getting done.
Is there another book, like a second parter?
No.
So it
but
would just be made
the
up.
writer kind of got wrapped up in some controversy. It's not a terrible thing. But the writer wrote 3 novels, kind of unrelated to each other. But the 3 antagonists in his novels are women. People don't like that. You know, that he's a man writing from a man's perspective saying
But that's
women.
It's one of the best perspectives.
Well, I mean,
not
it's an
woman.
exploration that you feel you have to do. I agree. I mean, or I'm sorry, her antagonists are women, and again, people don't take kindly to that because it's like.
So they're all mad.
They're all mad. Like you're talking. It's kind of the same thing that they went after. What's her name? The Harry Potter author.
Oh, J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling and the controversy she got wrapped up in.
Well, that was a whole.
Well, that was a whole like, who are you like defending and who you're speaking badly against and that type of thing. But
It was a whole woke.
So-
culture
yeah,
thing.
well, it's a similar thing.
I want to ask real. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ask away.
You want to ask?
I want to ask
You want an ass?
one parter.
I feel like it's gonna become a 2-parter. But
Hey,
go
you know what? Anything's possible in podcast land. You were the one to rate it probably the lowest out of all of us. Did you feel that it was predictable, or what? Where was it not hitting a mark?
Yes,
I think it was a mixture of my own taste / predictability / I think I've seen better in this genre.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's not interesting at all.
I got 2 fun facts that might raise his rating.
I like these.
You guys want
Some
them?
of the. Oh, yeah. I was just gonna say some of the films I thought that were like.
Which ones?
Which one?
Like
Yeah,
in the thriller space, dude, I think
interested.
something like The Menu was better. When it comes
I
to
didn't
the
like
auto
that one.
space.
That. I like the menu.
And then
I
when it
didn't like
comes to
how
like
it
the
ended.
when it comes to like the crime part of it, I felt like something like Three Billboards was done a little bit better on that front.
What about that one that we watched
for the
recently?
killer.
on the
I love Three Billboards,
podcast.
but I would
I
have
think it's
to-
Nocturnal Animals, the one with
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
I'd put that one up there for
Jake
sure.
Gyllenhaal, baby.
Yeah, so I
That's
just feel
fair.
like it's been
I can kind of see where you're going with it.
Yeah.
Not that I
it
agree.
wasn't
but-
impressive for me.
Yeah, okay, you can leave it at that, bro. Jesus.
You'll be happy to know, Mr. Young, that they edited this film on Premiere.
Good. People with taste.
And not only did they edit on Premiere, but they edited off of quote unquote off the shelf MacBooks.
Off the like not custom made. Just
Well,
straight up.
to be fair, they said Macs, not just MacBooks, but like different Mac computers.
Oh, okay,
but
okay,
just
okay.
like not custom, fully bored
yeah,
out. No,
yeah,
just
the ones
fucking
they sell.
the off the shelf.
Exactly.
Well,
Macs.
that actually drops my rating a little bit.
Fuck you. That's impressive. dude.
That's
Just
impressive, dude.
to not have to build something out, and it's just like, yep, just grab these things.
Literally telling everybody just buy whatever's on the shelf and you
Yeah.
can edit it.
On Premiere. And they shut production down for 4 days. You guys know why?
Why?
Oh, I know why.
Yeah.
Hold on. No, wait.
Have I heard
You
this?
know why.
14
You know
heard this.
why.
for the World Series?
No.
No.
It is baseball related.
It is baseball related.
I-
You,
I'm mad that I
you
don't
want to
know
give the
this.
fact?
I want to
so
give the
mad.
fact. So, if a lot of you baseball fans, you guys know that the Yankees and the Red Sox
Oh,
have
no
a
way, you didn't know
vicious
this.
rivalry, a very horrible one,
Uh-huh.
starting in the 04. We were actually watching that documentary earlier today.
There's a whole history.
Which
behind
one?
The
The Netflix one or the 30 for 30?
the Netflix of the
Yeah.
Boston Red Sox.
it. Yeah.
So, from Boston, what's his name?
Boston.
Ben Affleck.
Ben
that guy,
Affleck.
Ben Affleck, is a massive Boston fan, and they told him, you got to wear a Yankees hat.
Because
So
he's a New Yorker,
Because
right?
he's, yeah, in the character, he's from New York and everything.
Yeah.
But he was like, I'm not going to do that shit. To the point where he stubbornly shut down production for 4 days.
Yep.
And in the
There's
end,
rumors. There's
and
two,
no.
2 to 3, 4 days.
4 days.
No, it was 4. It was 4.
Okay, for the people that don't know, men are obsessed with sports.
Don't get me wrong,
Don't
dude.
try to understand that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
know
yeah.
that.
Don't get me wrong. Don't try to throw me in an Eagles jersey or hat.
But I
off of-
understand
off the
why it
Rams.
happened. Like maybe
Yeah.
4 days is a little too much,
So
but
the solution was to give him a Mets hat instead.
I
the
get
nature
it,
of
man.
filmmaking.
But for 4 days, a whole people
Shut
not getting
down.
paid.
Him
Yeah,
and,
that's a
like
little
he
too much.
challenged fucking
David.
I'm with
David
him, though.
Fincher.
I would do the same thing.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
he just like fought with him tooth and nail. Like, fuck you, I'm not gonna do it, man. Like, figure it out.
50-50. Like, come on, people
Yeah.
have to work, bro. Come on.
I mean,
I
it's
get it.
funny, right?
Guys,
But
so
anyways.
again, what if in a film they asked you to wear a Browns jersey?
You could go fuck yourself.
Or a
Exactly.
Ravens jersey. You got to wear a Ray Lewis jersey right
Go
there.
fuck a go.
And be ass naked later on.
Be double cheeked.
So does that up your rating?
No.
All right. Well,
You
I tried.
Yeah,
I liked it.
love for that, man.
I
had
liked
fun.
it a lot too,
That's
man.
the-
This
that's the whole
is
takeaway
like
here.
my second favorite Fincher film.
Not the
hands
most type,
down.
but he liked it, bro. That goes a long way.
Loud, don't call her.
Okay, my third. It's my third favorite Fincher film for sure.
Which one? The first two?
Social Network is
Yeah,
number one.
for
Yeah,
sure.
of course.
Mank.
What?
Yeah. Yes.
All right,
You
I
kidding
gotta,
me?
I gotta watch it
Cut
again.
that.
Making of Cain.
Rewatch
don't know.
Mank, bro. Like
'Cause
Mank
I saw
is a
it.
No, but yeah, I
I
didn't
saw it when
really.
it came out, and I was just like,
The only parts
damn,
that like
sleeper.
bug me about Mank is Amanda Seyfried. Other than that, it's fucking great.
Wait, who is she? The girl in
The
Ted Bundy?
actress, the
the blondie.
blonde.
The blonde.
She was nominated that year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really? But you put that one in front of like 7.
Yes.
Because again, like
Again,
let's
it's
let's
personal
not
taste.
ignore the fact that
True,
like
true, true.
even with this film, and Fincher's good at it, but he follows a genre formula well.
Yes, but this film, that's the cool thing is that this film is not, it's more character driven than it is plot driven. That's hard to do in a thriller, man. It's really hard to do. The
Yeah.
films you just named, Seven, even Zodiac, they're plot driven. They're not really character driven. I felt like Zodiac was a good precursor to Gone Girl.
Yeah.
Like you could do a double screening of those two and see the progression in David Fincher's storytelling.
Oh, yeah. With
But almost
Zodiac,
more
yeah.
importantly, like he needed to make a Zodiac to understand why he needs to make a character film through Gone Girl. You know, and this is so
That's
much.
cool.
It's so much layered than like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Zodiac or a Seven or a Fight Club. You know, so yeah, it's up there for me.
I'm glad most of you guys liked it, except for that dude over there with the Detroit or some bullshit.
Rangers hat.
Some bullshit.
You know,
fucking logo.
he's a Red Sox fan, but I've never seen him wear a Red Sox hat.
Because he jumps up on the
He used to
bandwagon.
hang his jersey in the shop until I told him to take it home.
He drives the bandwagon, dog.
Damn, yeah. I was gonna say,
I'm not
have you
a
ever heard the
bandwagon
term?
fan.
Have you ever heard the term poser?
Whoa, 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 whoa. those are fighting words, bro.
That's
Those are
two,
fighting
CK.
words.
That's two. He already said he was going to beat your ass after the podcast.
He's not going to be here next week.
Oh.
That's okay. You don't want us to call you Danny 2, bro. Danny number 2.
Gone Girl, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys
week,
for tuning
Gone
in for
Girl.
this one. Next week, we wrap up our David Fincher series.
Thank God.
With the girl with the
Thank God.
dragon
Who
tattoo.
said thank God?
Damn, Danny, why'd you say that?
Damn, Daniel.
Damn, Daniel.
Hey, man. Meet me outside, bro. I need to talk to you real quick.
We're going to wrap
run
up with
something.
Girl with a Dragon Tattoo starring Rooney Mara.
Does she have other tattoos?
I don't know. No idea. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
Never
I
seen it.
haven't seen this one. It's a very...
Hopefully people are quiet next week during the screening.
Bro, I already complained twice.
To the theater.
And
Bitch,
my-
you were the main culprit.
We'll be
It got
watching
to me.
Girl with a Dragon Tattoo to wrap up our David Fincher series. Thank you guys for tuning in for that. Let us know how you feel about us doing an all tour for a month.
Which was next year? Oh, well, no.
I think
Next one.
Well,
That's Scorsese.
yeah.
Scorsese. We'll be covering
Scorsese
Scorsese
month.
Scorsese month.
Scorsese.
indeed.
Got new ones, old ones of his, you know.
Yeah, I'm still trying to curate those. I'm trying to figure out which ones we're gonna do, but I think I'm getting there.
He's like 90%. He wants to change one, and I'm telling him no. You got to keep me in streets. But then, whatever.
All right. So thank you guys for tuning into the WatchTower Film Podcast. Tune in next week. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on social media. We're everywhere, including TikTok. Go follow the
Yeah.
Tower Cast
Oh,
Network
and
right on
now
TikTok.
that
Click.
Eric's back in town, joining us again.
It's
Our
only
social
been
media
a
content's
month.
been going up again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
other
It's
been
asshole said he was
So-
going to take care of it. Didn't do shit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Funny guy.
keep tuning in. Keep
Much like,
joining us for
yeah.
the polls. I love the poll that we just posted for this one.
Please.
We posted a
Just
poll.
fucking comment, like
I didn't
it.
see
If
the
you
poll.
like it, if
Yeah.
you don't like it, tell us. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm all game for
If
it.
you don't like
It goes a long way. It really does help.
It really does.
Thank you for tuning into the WatchTower Film Podcast. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Keep loving film.